So today we're going to turn this hard 3D printed plastic Robocop midsection into this nice soft Robocop midsection that would be nice and wearable. What's up guys, and welcome back to Chris Bosch Props. Today the day of reckoning is upon us. So I'm going to take this midsection, which is a 3D printed part for the Robocop suit, and my plan is to make a silicone mold and turn this into a flexible urethane foam so I can now wear this suit. Whereas my last suit, which was a Do 3D, completely 3D printed suit, I really had a hard time walking in, because this plastic likes to rub against the arms and the legs, especially the legs. It gets real clunky and the legs like to snag on the plastic, and you just feel like a big walking action figure, which you kind of are anyway, but the softer midsection is going to help with mobility and make this thing a lot more comfortable to wear out in public, which I'm just dying to do. I really want to wear this to a Comic-Con. I've never got to do it. I didn't get to do it on my last suit. So with this one, I have high hopes that I'll be able to wear this out finally. So what we're gonna mold this thing with is my favorite silicone. It is Rebound 25. Now what makes Rebound 25 special is it is a brushable silicone. So it doesn't have to be poured, it can be brushed on. And they also make a thickener called Thivex, which after you do a couple of layers, you can start thickening it, and it's almost like cake frosting. So what I've done to prepare this is I've just used some foam board that you can get at Michael's, and just kind of, I want to make like a silicone flange right here, and I don't want to use a lot of wasted material on a large big wall going all the way down. You can kind of see that's what I started to do. But I built up a flange here, and I like having flanges in the silicone, so when it rests on the fiberglass shell, when I'm ready to start making casts, it almost acts, the flange that the silicone's going to have almost acts like a key that it sets in the fiberglass shell real nice. But this is just an everyday mold. This is not fancy. I am not no master mold maker by any means. This is for the everyday guy to do. I mean, it really is. If you're at home and you're watching this and you're just saying, I could never do something like that, let me tell you, you can, because I'm just an everyday Joe guy. And I watch a couple videos, I get experience, I learn just like the next guy. But I'm hoping this will turn out, and this will be one nice looking cast once finished. So let's go ahead and get started. So our first step we're going to do is I'm going to use some Man's Ease Release 2000. This is just a mold release. When this Rebound 25 creates a vacuum and it sticks to this this masterpiece, it is really hard to get off if you don't use mold release. It'll rip the paint off, it'll rip the pieces apart. So you definitely want to use some mold release if you ever decide to use a mold. It just makes demolding a little bit easier, where you're not going to completely destroy your master. So I'm going to get started doing that. I'm just going to spray some mold release around here, brush some of it on, and make life a little easier for myself. You can spray it all around. And if you gunk up, you can take a brush and kind of move it around in there. Alrighty, so we've mixed our first coat. This is going to be our detail coat. We're not going to put this on crazy heavy. We're just going to kind of put it on to get all the minor details that we want to get. So Rebound 25 is really forgiving, and it's pretty easy. It's 1-to-1 ratio, so it's equal parts. And you just follow your little chart on your container. I'm going to mix this up for like a minute, and then we're going to start laying our coat down. Alrighty, so we kind of pour it on, and we're going to start kind of brushing our details in. It's going to start running quite a bit, so we just kind of want to get a detail, just kind of. But you'll get little air bubbles And what you can do is you can just use a compressor. You can also use compressed air in a can, and you can just kind of blow the air bubbles out. Look, I blew that one out. That should be good. So you can see I didn't put a super heavy coat down. We're going to come back, probably hit it with one more detail coat just to make sure we get everything. And then after that, we'll start thickening this up and start building it up and making it look like a wedding cake. So right now we're just doing our second detail coat. I'm trying to get some of these undercuts here. I'm going to come back with a thickened layer of silicone and fill in these undercuts. But I'm just trying to get on my second coat just some of the spots I missed. That's all. And then after this, we're going to come back and hit it with some thickened silicone. So this is where we're at. We're pretty much done. This has taken probably about 3 to 4 coats altogether. Right now I'm just doing a last touch up. I'm going to let this sit overnight and cure up. And then I'm going to come back and trim off a lot of these edges and make a nice straight flange. And then I'm going to put my fiberglass, my 2-part fiberglass jacket on top of this to keep the silicone from flopping around, and that should be it. This is next day. I let the silicone set up, came out, cleaned it up, trimmed it all up, and then I added my clay dividing wall. And this is just a dividing wall so that I have, when my fiberglass shell jacket is on top of this, I'm able to break it apart easily when demolding. So that's the next step. So now our mold is all finished. It is absolutely not perfect, but the mold will definitely do the job. Right now the material I'm using for the midsection is Flex Foamit 15. It is a durable and very strong urethane foam rubber. And once we demold this thing, I'm hoping it comes out awesome. I'm not sure. You guys are along with on the adventure with me, so we'll demold it soon here and we'll see how she turns out. So here's our actual mold. I ended up doing a video after the fact. I didn't really show what the mold looked like. Here is the mold. So again, it is not a perfect mold. I was really trying to be scarce with the material. Rebound sells a 1-gallon kit, which essentially is a 2-gallon kit because it's 1 equal parts. So I was really trying to make the most of it and make it go as far as I possibly could without using a lot of material, because we still got the back piece to do. And it looks like I'm right around the halfway mark when it comes to material. I should have probably a little more than enough for the back piece. So, but it came out amazing still. You know, it's not a throwaway mold. It's not exactly a 30-year shelf life mold, but it's pretty close. It's somewhere in between, and I think it'll do the job. And I wanted to show you actually the first casting. So here's the first casting in urethane foam rubber, and it came out awesome. I used a black pigment with the foam rubber. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of flashing that I need to cut away. That's what we're going to do next, and I'm going to show you what it looks like trimmed. But I am very happy with how it came out. It looks awesome. A few little quirks, a few little tweaks I need to make in my technique. But overall, it's awesome. I'm going to get back to you and show you it trimmed. So here we are with the midsection all trimmed up, and I got it propped up a little bit so you guys can see the detail. This was cast again in urethane foam rubber, which expands 4 times its initial volume or weight. And here she is. There are some areas I probably could have thickened up a little more, which I will do next time. This is my first time ever working with urethane foam rubber, so it was a learning curve and an experience for me. But overall, for the first casting, although not perfect, is pretty awesome. I'm amazed on how well it was able to pick all the detail up for a foam rubber. It's awesome. It's flexible. It moves. Now, because it is a foam rubber, I can't use a regular spray paint. I'm going to have to probably use, actually not probably, but I'm for sure going to have to use Plastidip. That's usually what people will use on these urethane foam rubbers. Here you can see how I got all those details real good there in the hip. And then you can use a glossifier on the Plastidip to get your desired glossiness with the black. So I'm excited to use that. There's also another urethane coat that you can use that Smooth On makes to get a real glossy finish if I wanted to. So I have a couple options. But urethane foam rubber, this is Flex Foam 15 Tough Stuff. It's really tough. My only issue is I could have went thicker in some areas. But I was learning, and for the first casting, it proves my mold's good. So I'm happy with it. Now I could just cast anything in my mold. If I want to do a resin copy, I'll do a resin copy. But I'm very, very happy with the Flex Foam It. This was recommended to me by a Smooth On representative, so kudos to you, Smooth On. Thumbs up to you. I'm really, really happy with your great customer service. I mean, you guys nailed it on the point of exactly what I needed for this project. So thank you guys. And thank you for tuning in. That's all she wrote. Until next time.